In the vastness of the Arabian Peninsula, there's a story etched into the very landscape. It's a tale of impossible transformation, where ancient desert sands meet the shimmering glass and steel of a future you can touch. This is the story of a nation that didn't just rise, it soared.
But here's the really wild part. This story wasn't written over centuries. Nope, it happened in the span of a single lifetime. And it leaves you with this one massive question. How do you build one of the world's most advanced nations from scratch in just 50 years? To even begin to understand the United Arab Emirates, you have to wrap your head around a powerful paradox, a story that's best told through a simple, yet absolutely profound contrast.
For thousands of years, this was a tough, sparse place to live. Life was dictated by the rhythm of the seasons, by the shifting camel routes, and by whatever you could pull from the Persian Gulf. Now, fast forward to today, that same stretch of coastline is a global center of gravity, a powerhouse of capital, commerce, and culture. The two worlds seem like they're on different planets. So, what happened? What was the spark for this unbelievable shift?
Well, the first answer wasn't black gold. It was something much older. The shimmering, iridescent glow of pearls. For generations, this was the entire region's lifeblood.
So back in the late 19th century, this collection of local sheikdoms, they were known as the Trucial States, made a deal with Great Britain. It brought stability, and the pearling business was booming. But then the 1930s hit, and it was a perfect storm of disaster. The Great Depression wiped out demand. Right at the same moment, Japanese inventors perfected the cultured pearl. The bottom just fell out of the market, and the entire region plunged into extreme poverty. And then, in 1958, everything changed. Deep under the seabed off the coast of Abu Dhabi, a new kind of treasure was found, one that would completely rewrite the destiny of this land.
The discovery of oil brought wealth, for sure, but wealth alone doesn't build a nation. That required something much, much more powerful, a shared vision.
By 1971, the British were getting ready to leave. The rulers of the 7 sheikdoms, they had a choice: go it alone or unite. Led by the visionary Sheikh Zayed of Abu Dhabi, they chose to come together. On a historic day in December, the United Arab Emirates was born, a brand new country with a really bold ambition.
Sheikh Zayed's vision was the bedrock for everything that came next. And it wasn't a vision of shiny buildings and monuments. It was about human development. He saw the oil money not as the end goal, but as the tool, the fuel, to build schools, hospitals, and modern infrastructure. The real investment, he knew, was in the potential of his people.
And with that foundation in place, the UAE began one of the most rapid, most ambitious national construction projects in all of human history.
The results were, well, they were staggering. Just think about this number for a second. The economy grew by nearly 231 times in just over 4 decades. It's a figure that points to a level of growth that is almost impossible to wrap your head around.
But the crucial part, the really smart part, is that this was never just about oil. The country's leaders knew they were in a race against time. They knew oil was finite. So they used that oil revenue like rocket fuel to build an economy that could long outlast the wells. They turned Dubai into a financial giant, its airport into the world's busiest international hub, and its skyline into a global icon. They literally built a diversified 21st century economy on a foundation of sand and sheer will.
But there's another dimension to this story of incredible growth, and you can find it in the very fabric of its society, its people.
And this is where the story takes a truly remarkable turn. I mean, look at these numbers. Native Emiratis, they make up just a tiny fraction of the population, around 12%. The vast majority of people living and working here came from all over the world, mostly South Asia, but really from every corner of the globe, all of them answering the call to build.
Because when you want to build a dream on this epic of a scale, overnight, you need one thing more than anything else: people. Millions and millions of them. And so, the nation became a global magnet, drawing in a massive workforce, all seeking opportunity.
However, this model of hyperspeed, labor-intensive growth, it created a very complex and often a very troubling reality. It put the UAE under a huge amount of international scrutiny. You have human rights organizations, groups like the International Trade Union Confederation, raising serious concerns about the conditions for many of these migrant workers. Some reports have alleged systematic exploitation and labor practices that fall way short of international standards. It's really the paradox at the heart of the UAE's story. This gleaming vision of the future built, in part, on a system that faces some profound questions about basic fairness and humanity.
Now,
As the UAE looks beyond its first half-century, its ambitions are shifting once again, from building on Earth to reaching for the stars.
And look, this isn't just ambition for ambition's sake. It's a calculated strategy for a post-oil world. The focus has pivoted from concrete to code, from skyscrapers to science. They've launched the Arab world's very first interplanetary mission to Mars. They built the region's first nuclear power plant for clean energy. They even have a National Ministry of Artificial Intelligence and a Ministry of Possibilities, a government body literally designed to engineer the future. This is a nation that is actively trying to invent whatever comes next.
And so, that brings us back to where we started. A nation that has journeyed from a nomadic life to interplanetary exploration, all within the span of a single human life. It's an incredible story of vision, of immense wealth, and just relentless ambition. But it's also a story of deep complexities and some tough, unanswered questions. The first 50 years were a breathtaking sprint. The real question now is, what does the next chapter hold for a nation built on the dream of doing the impossible?